When you picture America, what comes to mind? Is it bustling cities, packed coastlines? Well, today we're going to peel back the curtain and look at the numbers behind the image, superlatives that paint a picture of a country filled with vast emptiness, surprising growth, and just mind-boggling scale.
So, let me ask you, how well do you really know the U.S.? I mean, beyond the landmarks and the headlines, there's a whole other story told in numbers, and I'm willing to bet it's one you probably haven't heard before.
Let's just dive right in with a number, 47%. Any guesses? Well, that is the portion of the entire United States that is completely 100% uninhabited. Just think about that for a second. Nearly half of the country is empty land.
Okay, now let's switch gears from empty space to, well, a whole lot of wealth. 25 million. That's the absolutely staggering number of millionaires in the U.S. today. It's more than any other nation on the planet, and not just by a little, but by a huge margin. And here's a number that brings us full circle, right back to all that open space. Over 250,000 miles. That is the total length of the nation's hiking trails, an incredible network built specifically for exploring that beautiful emptiness. So, to make sense of all this, we're going to break it down into 4 parts. First, we'll dive into the land itself, those unseen natural wonders. Then, we'll look at how it's all connected. After that, we'll get into its history of pioneering firsts, and finally, we'll put it all into a global perspective. All right, first up, the unseen natural wonders. And we're not just talking about national parks here. We're talking about the fundamental and often really counterintuitive makeup of the American landscape itself.
Yeah, this chart really says it all, doesn't it? It just drives that first number home. Even with a population of over 330 million people, the fact is that nearly half the country's landmass is empty. It really underscores a fundamental truth. America is a nation defined by its vast, wide-open spaces. Now here's a fact that just seems to defy all logic. After a whole century of industrialization and urban sprawl, the United States actually has more trees today than it did 100 years ago. I know, right? It's thanks to a combo of large-scale reforestation efforts and the fact that agriculture has gotten so much more efficient using less land, it has completely reversed the trend.
And this might be the most unique natural feature of them all. The U.S. is the only country on Earth that contains all 5 of the planet's major climate zones. We're talking tropical, dry, temperate, continental, and polar. It's like a whole world of different environments all within one nation's borders.
So how do you even begin to connect such a vast and varied landscape? Well, you do it with infrastructure on a scale that is, frankly, mind-blowing. Let's start with the roads. The United States has the largest road network in the world, stretching over 4.2 million miles. To put that into perspective for you, that's enough road to go to the moon and back more than 8 times.
And hey, it's not just roads. The U.S. also built the world's largest railroad network. Over 92,000 miles of track laid the foundation for connecting the country long before the interstate system was even a thought.
And when it comes to air travel, the scale is just as massive. The U.S. has over 20,000 airports. That's more than any other country on the entire planet. It's a real testament to how absolutely crucial aviation is for conquering the nation's immense distances.
And to end this section on a slightly different note of connection, snacks. The U.S. has the most vending machines in the world, with over 7 million of them ready to serve you. It's a quirky, but, a telling piece of its sprawling infrastructure. This immense landscape wasn't just settled, though. It was the stage for a history of pioneering moments and significant firsts that would go on to shape not just the country, but the world.
The question of America's oldest town is actually surprisingly complex. Sure, St. Augustine is the oldest continuously inhabited city founded by Europeans, but then you have Jamestown, which was the first English settlement, and others like Albany and Lewis. They hold their own unique titles. It just goes to show you that from the very beginning, the nation's history was layered and contested.
And this pattern of firsts just continues throughout its history. It was the first nation to institute a regular census way back in 1790, which was a pretty revolutionary act of self-measurement at the time. In 1870, a major step in democracy was taken when Thomas Mundy Peterson cast his vote. And of course, in 1969, it achieved a goal for all of humanity, becoming the first and only country to land people on the moon.
So with this immense land, incredible infrastructure, and storied history, how does the U.S. actually measure up on the world stage? Well, the global data reveals some of its most stark contrasts yet. Let's start with military power.
The United States has, by far, the world's largest military budget. And to put that in perspective, it spends more on its military than the next 10 countries combined.
And here is one of the most striking paradoxes of all. The US is the third most populated country in the world. But remember all that empty land we talked about? Well, it ranks a lowly 174th in population density. It's a country with a ton of people, but with a remarkable amount of space between them.
Finally, a well-known but still fascinating quirk. In a world that has almost universally standardized on meters, grams, and liters, the United States remains one of only 3 countries, along with Liberia and Myanmar, that has not officially adopted the metric system.
So, if one theme really emerges from all of this, it's a story of contrast, isn't it? The U.S. is a nation that seems to be defined by 2 opposing forces: its vast empty landscapes and the world's absolute largest networks, built for the sole purpose of conquering that emptiness. And that leaves us with a final question to chew on. Is the true character of the U.S. found in its millions of miles of empty wilderness, or in the millions of miles of pavement built to tame it? Is it a nation of individuals spread far apart, or one defined by its relentless drive to connect? What truly defines a nation built on such powerful contradictions?